Welcome back to Between Two Cars with my partner here, Matt Maxwell, the Walrus, and myself, Kyle Orr.
What's up?
What? There's a lot of. It's election year, baby, right?
Man, we're excited today. I can feel it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with the election year, especially that pertains to what we do in our business. There's a lot of laws trying to get passed, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second.
Yep.
Give a big shout out to our friend Tim McGrady over at 166 Auction. He has taken on the challenge to run for commissioner, county commissioner.
One of those.
Yeah, he'll be the commissioner over at your deal. For you guys that don't know what that means.
For my district, I guess.
For the district. So I actually, I've been versed in this, what a commissioner does, because my mother-in-law, who is also running again this year, those are the people in charge of your road. So if you're mad at somebody because you have a pothole, you call Timmy.
Little Tim.
Little Timmy.
We'll get out his we're going to give out his address here shortly, so everybody knows where he lives.
Yeah, but Tim's a great guy. Okay, I think he'll do great for the Springfield community.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. He seemed really excited. We went. Tim works for the auto auction, the 166 auto auction, and we were graciously invited to their 75th anniversary of being in Springfield. Right, and that was a neat event. Great people there, great leaders. Tim is one of the guys that works there. He's one of the leaders there, and Mike's built a great team out there. And now you got him branching out, kind of doing some stuff for the government. So. Yeah. To help us, right?
Hopefully fix it.
The roads are terrible, Tim. Little Tim. We call him Little Tim because he's like Little Tim, right? But he needs to fix them. Okay, you want my vote, Tim? Fix them roads.
That's right. You fix those roads. If I had something for Timmy to get involved in with the government, though, I would tell him that this ban on combustion engines is ridiculous.
It's not going to pass. That's my
It's
opinion.
Ridiculous. So,
I don't understand, and you've read it into a little bit more than I have, but I don't understand how they think that's going to be, a good thing long term for anything. To be quite honest with you, I understand the environment and stuff. We can do a better things as far as taking care of the environment. I agree with all that stuff, but I mean, come on, you're going to ask a farmer to have a full electric vehicle out there, picking up hay or something out there, and the truck goes down. What do you do? I mean, what do you do when you run out of power?
Well, or just let's talk about charging. I have nothing
Charging
against
stations.
Here, I'll put this out there. I have nothing against people who want to own an electric vehicle.
I don't
okay,
either.
But you're in America. You have a choice. That's the luxury of living in America. You have a choice of whether you can drive a gas vehicle or electric vehicle, all of that stuff. And I get the environmental stuff that goes on, but here, put an incentive out there for people to start picking up their own trash. Let's start there. And then as we grow and we get people to actually do that, let's work towards, maybe finding other resources for fueling vehicles. But in rural America, it's not going to work.
Let me ask you something. How's our infrastructure going to handle the electric cars anyway? It's not. Let's be real. We're not even ready for that. So that's not going to happen. First off, and the thing that we should be probably looking at is why aren't they using water, coming up with some type of deal with water to
well, they've had hydrogen fuel cell out for a long time.
Why don't we figure that out? Well, probably because the big businesses are not in that industry, right? So it's all about the money and who's getting fed the dollars up at, in Washington and stuff like that. And little guys like us and little Timmy going running for government stuff don't have the power to change all that stuff. But I don't see it happen. Our infrastructure just can't handle it. You won't have enough power stations, charging stations. You're not going to have.
You're not.
I mean, it just
if you know anything about how batteries are made or how any of that becomes in a vehicle, you'll know that it takes machines that use oil to make those batteries.
That was a commercial for us.
That right? A short commercial break.
Know.
So yeah, that and here's the deal. Okay, I challenged I challenge Washington, D.C. to go out there and get their hands dirty. Maybe take an electric truck that's going to be hauling food and stuff to the villages in Alaska. Take it up there and see how well it happens. There's a delay in delivery. I mean, people aren't going to want that.
Yeah, I tell you what, do this. Go up in Alaska, middle of winter, right? Have a grizzly bear out there, or polar bear, or whatever, out there looking for some food. You're in an electric car. It's going to run out of power in 12 hours. How would you rather have that, or would you have one that's going to be able to run for, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that bear's going to sit there and wait, right? So I'm just kidding. But but that's serious. I mean, I don't understand what they're trying to do here. But let's focus on some stuff that actually is going to make a change in the United States.
Yeah, make a difference, right? There's a lot of other subjects that we could be focused on other than banning combustion engines. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like trying to take somebody's guns away, and there's a lot of controversy behind that. But again, we're in America, okay? That was something that when America was founded, that's your your God-given right. That's one of the luxuries of being here,
Well, it's kind of funny, right? You have the way they think. You want choices on, like, say, gender, and that's okay for people to be able to have choices there. But now they don't want to let choices when it comes to combustion in. They just want to get rid of them. So what are we doing here? It's all money.
I'm 110% against the government having any kind of control over what I do, because I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen of the United States. And therefore, if I'm not doing something that harms somebody else or gets in the way of, breaking some kind of espionage rule or something like that, I should get to run freely around here. Right. I'm not a criminal.
Now, we probably made some people upset with what we just talked about. But that's what's nice about America and what we're doing, right? We get the freedom of speech. So it's just it's what we believe and how we think and stuff, and how it affects us. I mean, really, how does it affect us as being in the car business, right? Well, here's the thing: we're going to sell whatever we can sell. Let's just be real. So if they do that, and we have to, what's going to happen to all the cars, 10 or 15 years old, or what are they going to do with all those engines? What are they going to do with, the people that are driving those that can't afford to go in and buy what are these cars, $100,000 anymore? So
say it all goes through, right? Here's what I was thinking. This is one of my weird, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning thing. So say something like that goes through. So who's going to be, what are they going to do? Just come compensate your vehicle?
Yeah. I want your car.
And what are they going to drive? They're going to drive an electric truck to come pick up your car?
Hop on my bike. Let's go. Come on.
Right.
It's a circus.
And the funding for if you just dive in deep, and I don't mean to go off on a political rant, but say this all goes through, okay? They've taken away most of the funding that goes to police officers. So who's going to hold people accountable to, hey, you got to drive an electric car, right?
Well,
it's
a mess.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The whole thing's a mess.
I just think it's a facade that they're putting up there, with the election stuff. I think it's a dumb subject to even talk about that. There's a lot more stuff to talk about.
Sure, homeless, trying to figure out how to take care of the homeless.
Yeah.
You've got the border thing going on down there. I mean, you got human life crisis.
Right.
That's going on right now, and we're worried about stuff that's going to happen 100, 200, 300, I mean, how many years? Stuff. Where's our priorities? And I think that's just a ongoing topic, I guess.
I think the government needs to do, and this is for all parties, no matter what you believe in or which way you vote, but the government needs to do a checkup from the neck up and start holding themselves accountable, just like every person should. Like, you got to be able to admit your faults, right? You should be able to confront your faults, say, hey, man, I messed up, okay? Here's what I did in my past, and then you move forward, right?
Well, I think the government needs to get away from being ran by big business.
Well, it needs some leaders in it.
It needs. There's a lot of things that I agree on. We need to help. We need to help the poor. We need to help some people that they can't help themselves. But there are some people that figured out abuse the system too.
Yeah, you're going to get that.
Yeah, and we need to minimize that as best we can. I don't think you can ever get rid of that, but there's a lot of things that I think that are more important than worrying about gas engines.
Right.
I mean, I agree. Maybe we can make them better as far as not putting out so much pollution, but they've gotten better. I mean, they've gotten, the technology in these vehicles have gotten a lot better, but what's sad is they're just squeezing the middle class, really, because these cars, I mean, the technology is changing so fast, and they're wanting to upgrade all these things and get into these hybrid or electric vehicles, and people, the pay's not going up. I mean,
right.
You're talking about a truck right now.
McDonald's pays.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. $80,000 for a pickup truck, electric pickup truck.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I mean, that's just insane. And then that's not.
I mean, how much you pay for your very first house you finance?
$82,000.
Right.
$82,000. Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, I would like to say that it would be cool if everybody in the United States could afford something like that. But let's get real, right? You know, $80,000 that's not chump change.
Well, we're putting more people into that lower class of income level where they're considered poor.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Taxes go up because we have to help them survive. And some of these people need it, don't get me wrong. But a lot of people don't. I mean, it's like a lot of these things that we're doing, these decisions they're making, aren't for long term. It's short term thinking so they can get reelected. Right. And here we are, the people, the small businesses, or the people that are getting up and working 60 hours a week, trying to figure out how to feed their kids and stuff like that, and struggling, and they're worried about stuff that they shouldn't be worried about. Let's figure out how about health care?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I mean, it's just insane.
Well, here, let's just do some simple things, right? So, the Auto Parlor, what we run, okay, outside of the podcast, we have a business, okay? We've got a very good business, right? When there's just a small group of us, but we talk about things that we want to do, goals and stuff that we want to reach in our personal life and in our professional life, right? And we team together and help each other out. So everybody knows Matt's on a diet. We decide we're going to go out and we get gym memberships. So here's what we do. We wake up, okay? We're at the gym at 7:30 every morning. Now, we're not in there, we're not bodybuilders by no means. Okay?
I don't know what I saw Brecken do today. That was a bodybuilder move.
Was that gone already?
Yeah. He took his shirt off and just walked through the gym. I never seen anybody do that before, but a bodybuilder. I
like the fact that he shows up about 10 and 15 minutes later
than the old guys.
Well, we're usually there a little bit earlier than the 7:30, so he's about on time. The nice thing is I miss out on his ab workout because he tried to kill me one day.
He just walked. He was walking through, right, nonchalant. He just got there and he's like, "Hey, man, you guys know where the ab workout is?" I'm like, "Brecken, put a shirt on. What are you doing?"
Oh gosh.
I'm like, "Come on, man." No.
I noticed his shirt. Like he lost the sleeves of his shirt today.
Huh? Oh yeah.
I noticed the more he comes to the gym. Well, he showed up the first time in long sleeves, right?
Well, if you notice what
then
he
went
does,
to short sleeves. Now he's down there.
He has to take a pre-check lap around the gym so everybody notices him.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, kiddo. We know you have 0% body fat and you're built like freaking, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but don't embarrass the fat walrus. Okay?
Hey, the old
you want me to clear the gym
version.
out? I'll tell you how I'm going to clear the gym out. I'm going to take my shirt off, and the women are going to run the hell out of there.
The older version's the guy that's back here, doing the bells and stuff and grunting every morning.
That guy's killing it.
He's like 90 and he's freaking ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad walks by. He goes, "You think we're ever going to get there?" I said, "No."
We should have started a long time ago.
I like my Taco Bell too much for that crap.
That's Brecken 60 years from now.
Yeah. Hey, you guys know where the weight room is? I got to do my ab workout. Come on.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, though, working out in the morning, it's if you read books and stuff like that, or you watch like Andy Elliott and others high intense successful people, they're always working out, right? They make it a lifestyle change. It's just like their business, right? They're so in tune with the good health, right? a good working environment, and then some kind of, your faith, right?
Well, those are the three things that you've got to work on, right? Your faith, and family is one of the top ones. Your health is one of the top ones, right? And your finances, and if you take those things in stride, if you take care of your body, you take care of your mind. If you take care of your body, you take care of your mind. You're going to take care of your family. You're going to take care of your money situation.
The people around you.
People around you. You put people around you that are on the same page. What you guys are doing with me, coming to the gym and stuff, and I used to go to a great gym, MTS. They're probably the best gym I've ever been to. And the people there are absolutely wonderful. You got Andy and Paul, and they're both, their whole families, everybody, they're faith-driven gym, and all the people that are going there are the same type of people, and they all push you. And that's where we're getting to as far as what we're doing with each other, and kind of going there, and we're slowly getting more and more intense with our workouts, doing a little bit more, and we will do that stuff. Because our goal, because you know what happens when we get done, we come over here to the gym, or over here at 8:30. We don't open until 10. We're an hour and a half early to work.
Right.
And we feel better, and all of a sudden our minds are going, okay, let's figure out how we can sell some cars and help some people out, and boom, we just take off for the day.
Right, the energy levels just bar down
through the roof, and it attracts business. We were listening today. I was working out today, in that book. What's the book I'm reading? It's on my pod.
I think we're on two different books right now.
But this one's the 21. The 21 Habits of a Leader.
Of a good leader.
Good leader. And John Maxwell.
Yeah. Great book.
And it's one of the, this is the second time I've been through it. You always catch something, you know what I'm saying, when you read books? You kind of catch something you didn't catch
I like
the first
them
time.
on audio, too.
Yeah.
I like to read them and then buy them on audio.
He goes, today, the quote was about people, right? And he said, okay, businesses don't understand this. If you take care of the people inside, the people outside will demand that you get bigger. And what is that? So what does that mean? If you take care of your people, right, teach them and train them, you're going to have so much. You're going to be like everybody wants to come buy your business or buy whatever you're selling. They're going to demand that you get bigger because you guys are on the same page and you're doing such a great job. And that's where I was like, wow, man, that just stuck with me. That goes back to the leadership thing we were talking about. We've gone from, we're pushing ourselves here. We're going to have, it's what is today, the 5th? The 5th of the month. We've got half delivered what we did last month on the 5th of the month in April. And we're on pace to probably be up around, I would say probably about 700% if we continue to do this over what we've done in our best month, which was last month. And we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't communicate. And we did have some problems here, some communication problems, Kyle, if you remember, between the four of us. And we decided to sit down and we had a conversation about that. And then we all opened up to what our frustrations were instead of sitting there bottling them in. And we overcame them, and we came together. We became closer, I think, because we decided to be honest with each other, and we've taken off since then. I think
Well, it's perspective, right? So here, there's not one person. I mean, you're here a lot, but you work hard together. It's not like you don't like, well, some of you might be working with people you don't like, but we're not in that situation. No. The thing is just understanding the role, understanding what you do, right? And then understanding what the people around you do. And even though you guys are doing something different, you're doing it the same for the same goal, right? The end result.
But why do you hear, as a leader, let me ask you this, right? Because you've led a lot of people, okay? When you got into your management role, your leadership role, right? When you first got into it, what do you think? What do you think you knew, and what do you think you didn't know? I mean, what was your feeling the first time that you got into that role?
Well, I mean, if here's the thing, like when you get in a management position, the one thing that you shouldn't do is expect the people below you to start doing everything for you. And I think that's the difference between a manager and a leader. Right. But the one thing I know is that you should always earn the respect of the people that are
Hold
going
on
to work
for one
for
second.
you.
I actually have family coming in. So where were we at?
So, just in leadership in general, like when you walk in somewhere and you ask me about, as a manager, what it was like. I mean, the first thing I do is sit down with my guys and, one, get to know who they are, right? And then I got to kind of assess and see what I'm working with.
Well, what I meant is you learned to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So when you first became a manager, you didn't know how to do that, right?
Well, no, I'm wise enough to seek information.
100%. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of these new guys that get in these positions, in these leadership positions, think that they've arrived, right? Because they have a title. And I was like that when I first got in, when I first became a manager. I was like, okay, now I'm a manager. And your excitement for the first month or so helped us sell cars or whatever. But then all of a sudden, you don't know how to teach and develop and handle processes. And what happens to your people?
Well, sure, yeah.
Right. What I've learned now in doing this in a long time, in 27 years, right, is that you're always learning and you always can get better. And there's always someone else better than you. And you always just got to sharpen that knife. I mean, that's what we were talking about, working out, right? So Andy Elliott, we took these guys over from the store we came from, right? And they won that trip to Andy Elliott, right? And they were pumped. Remember when they got to go?
Yeah.
They went down to Scottsdale, Arizona. And if you guys don't know who Andy Elliott is, he's probably the most dynamic trainer in today's world. But there's no BS with the guy. He'll call you out. You're fat. You're fat. What are you going to do about it? That's what he does. He tells you it's just like Mr. Van Tile said, if it is to be, it's up to me, right?
Right.
That's how he runs this thing. Well, we send these guys, right? It was an expensive trip. I think, $20,000 or something like that. But we send these guys to their training. They go to their training. They're pumped up. They have leadership back at the store that's involved with the training, right? So they come back. They're pumped up. They're learning. What do you think happened to them after the leadership was gone?
Well, deflated their balloon.
They're done.
Yeah. Well, there's no accountability. Here's the thing, okay? Most people won't hold themselves accountable. They need somebody else out there to hold them accountable, which is fine. I mean, there's all kinds of sources you can use to hold yourself accountable. When it comes to faith, you can use your Bible, or Christianity is what we choose, right? Hold ourselves accountable to the things of the teaching of God, right?
Right. But what do? You don't go to church by yourself.
Right, but you
go to church around people who are believing the same way that you believe, and so it helps you move your spirits and stuff like that. Andy Elliott does the same thing, right? He said he has built a culture that is always winning.
Right, absolutely.
And now all these people want to win, and so what do?
They do what it takes.
Right, they do what it takes. And then if you have a culture that's all about themselves, you have a leader that's all about themselves and doesn't care about their people, yeah, they might be successful in some little things,
right?
But it's not going to be sustainable. I mean, they're going to start losing people left and right. They're going to maybe they get in lawsuits. I don't know. They just do stupid stuff. But it's a see you later, big man. All right, it's crazy, right? Now, and the reason I asked you that question is that we didn't learn that up front. We had to be taught, and I had I had a great mentor, and then we that helped me out when I was younger, for a few years, and then you and I we got involved with Southwest Consulting, and then we got involved with Andy Elliott,
yeah,
and then we got involved with some other great things. Gary House helped me out for a few years. Wonderful trainer there too. If you need help with him,
well, I'll credit some. I haven't credited this guy in a while, and mainly because I don't know. I don't want to say I think more high of him than he does of me, but obviously my position with him didn't last. But Rick Mavis, he probably walked in after and took over that position. And Rick Mavis took over a dealership I was at, Matt Wetton, but we had both worked for that same dealership. He came in and kind of brought a new light or new perspective to people, right? And one of the big things he did, is he said, if you're going to be a part of my management team, you are going to read books on how to develop yourself better.
He got involved.
Okay? Right? And I loved it because, man, I'm a reader. I listen to a lot of books. I read when I can and try to learn. I like that. I always have liked that. And when he did that, and then he started picking these books and introducing me to, different topics and things that I never, first book we read was The Traveler's Gift, right? You would never think that's not on a list of management books that you would read. But that book single-handedly, I go back to it all the time because it's all about accountability, what you want for your future, that kind of stuff. And Andy Andrews writes it. It's a great book if anybody wants to buy it. It's
Well, what did he do? We've talked about him, and I've only met him once or twice. I didn't get to be real involved with him, but the person that he replaced was involved also with us as far as when we had books and stuff that we read, and then Rick. But Rick, Rick came into another store. Here's another leader, right? That comes from another store, and he's like, okay, hey, I'm getting this store. What am I going to do to take this store to the next level? Well, he got involved.
You're right.
Right? He got involved with he earned the employees' respect first before he made any changes. And that's the mistake that these new young ones are making right now. They're, hey, 5 years. I was sitting there thinking about this morning. I said, we got all these managers right now that are getting moved up right now that are 38, maybe in their 30s. The last 5 years, but you've been in the car business longer than that. The last 5 years, they were just promoted. They were probably selling cars, right? 17, 18, 16, selling cars.
Yeah.
And then COVID hits, and all of a sudden now they're in the management role. And then they get through COVID a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden now they're in the time of era with the car business that you didn't have to manage.
Right.
You didn't have to know how to manage to be successful. And now they've moved up to more roles. And they still think that they were never taught. They still think that they can lead the same way that they did during that time. And
they weren't leading, okay?
Right, and I know that, but they think they were.
Right.
That's what I mean. They think they were. They don't. They haven't been in. They haven't been in the business long enough. I've seen 5 cycles. I mean, if you think about it, I've seen. We had cash for clunkers. We had 9/11. We had the 08, 09 problem. I've been through endless strikes trying to figure out, okay, hey, we don't have parts. We don't have cars. We don't have this. How do you keep your people motivated? Well, these guys come in these roles and they sit in their office all day, or they come out, right? They get a new role. They come in, and I did this too. I was a general manager at 32 years old of a store. I wasn't ready for it. It was up in Michigan. It was a Ziegler store. Great family, great people. Aaron Ziegler is, I would put up there as one of the top guys in the country as far as a car guy. 100% him and his father. At that time, I wasn't mature enough to be where I was at. And I walked in this store and fired 30 people within 30 days. Well, right? Because I want to go in there and say, hey, here's my big stick. I didn't get to know anybody. And I didn't, I lasted there a couple years, and it wasn't, I couldn't retain, I couldn't get anybody back because it was known, hey, if you go over there and work for that guy, he's a tyrant. So I had to learn the hard way, right? So then I go to another store that I was a general manager of that was a lot smaller, right? And this was Les Stanford, and Les Stanford was one of the original Chevy dealers in the United States. His dad was in Dearborn, Michigan. And
you kind of looked at me weird when you said smaller.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I'm trying to stop that. But anyway, but I had to learn, and that's where we were talking, I think, yesterday. I had to learn cash flow, the importance of you couldn't lose a guy. I mean, it was '08 in Michigan, okay?
Right.
And you had 26% unemployment, and you did not lose somebody because most of the people were moving out of the state.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then plus it was unions up there, and they didn't have jobs because what was going on in the car business. And that was a tough couple of years up there. But we got through it. I got through it because I had a guy, right, that would get up. I mean, first thing we did every morning, okay, he would come into work. He had to drive 45 minutes, so he got in there a little bit later. I always got there at 8. He got there about 9:30, 10. And I met him outside every morning, okay, 6 days a week, every morning. We'd walk and shake hands with every single employee.
Yeah, that's important.
And thank them.
That's
what he
important.
did. That's what he did. So it taught me. That was one of the beginnings. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, hey, if you take care of your people, like that book I was just telling about, if you make them feel like they're a part of something, the business will be there. And look what's happening here.
Right.
I mean, we're all part of this. We've got young Breck in here. He's one of our studs. He's a model. If you guys haven't seen him, like I said, takes his shirt off everywhere. We like that. It's okay. But we're trying to help him get to his dreams. And he knows it. Would you agree with that? We're trying to help you. But it means something to us because he's also helping us. I mean, there's a give and take there. Brad comes on here, and it took Brad 45 days to kind of before it clicked. You'd say?
Has it clicked?
Well, not 100%, but he's getting there. He's a lot better.
He's coming along.
His buy-in,
we're a tough crowd, man. We give each other crap all day long.
His buy-in has gone up probably 1,000% though. He was bought in, but now it's like, okay, now this is us.
Well, no, he was a little skeptical until he had our meeting. But here's the thing, okay? You should be able, if you're an employee, if an employer hires you and you're working for that individual, you should be able to go and freely express your concern. Here, you don't if they understood everything about the job, you wouldn't be hiring them. They would be hiring you, right?
Correct.
So, there's some people get ticked off. They don't understand why they're doing something. There's nothing wrong with somebody questioning a process. And it may not even be wrong once they realize why you do something.
Well, and here's what happens, right? So you have high egos because you normally in the car business, you promote guys that have sold 16, 17, 20 cars a month.
Yeah.
And that because they sold that many cars, they think they're going to be a great leader. And 90% of the time that doesn't happen. And then when they get in that role, they're never taught anything because the person that put them in that role has never been taught anything except it's just a cycle.
Other than close the car deal, right?
And they think because you can close a car deal, you can lead people. And that is so further from the truth.
Closing, I'll say this till the day that I die, okay? Closing a car deal is the easiest part of selling a car, okay? If you've done everything right, the car deal's already
100%.
closed.
Goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning about that quote. Get your people trained inside, your people trained, teach them, get rid of the ego, develop them, and then your business will be there. Yeah. But anyway, so I think I think you're going to see a lot of turnover in the car business in the next 5 years, and it's going to be sad. I really do. I think that you got a lot of these guys that are in positions that shouldn't be there.
Is that Gerald Weil?
Yeah. He gets the
Probably
whole folder.
That. Yeah, he gets the whole thing.
The whole folder.
Whole shebang, man.
Thank you very much.
Here, I'll throw this out there because we kind of opened up with, the government band and thing.
Sure.
But here's the thing: if people don't start standing up and being leaders, then we're just going to continue to. People have to teach people how to be some leaders. Like the world needs some leaders right now, on all aspects.
Well, think about it. With the leaderless army, what's going to happen? Right. So,
true.
I mean, you're gonna. We could. I mean,
you can feel the tension around. Yeah. You can feel the tension around here. We have a pretty good time. Our customers have a good time here. We make it that atmosphere, right? But I'll just tell you, going out to eat and walking around or going just even to a store or something, it's not as exciting as people used to want to feel. I don't know if that's because of the price of groceries or what, but when you're in a grocery store, I remember going to a grocery store with my mom and we would get stopped in an aisle, right? And we'd have these long conversations.
Well,
I came from a small town.
You know why, though? You know what's changed? Technology. We got these phones. I mean, I was showing Breck, and we were watching the movie Used Cars, right? We were watching some clips. I don't know. That movie's in the 70s, okay? That's one of the best, or 80s, right? Remember that movie?
Yeah.
And I'm like, the lot's just covered with people. I said, you got to realize something. That's how it was when I started selling cars. I mean, you get up, you're ready to go. You're like, okay, hey, how many people we're going to have today? And you'd probably have, a Toyota, we'd have 60, 70. Some Saturdays it'd be up to 100 people that you get on a lot that you get to meet. We didn't have cell phones.
It didn't matter what number you turned in either on your app count.
Yeah.
Because it was never right.
Right. I saw you with 45 people, just yourself. But but anyway, what I was saying is that technology's changed that. And so what's happened is, I mean, you can order your groceries now over the phone and have them delivered to you.
Well, I mean, I'm an extrovert, right? So I actually enjoy, one of my favorite things is to either go on vacation somewhere or go somewhere by myself. My wife gets mad at me, by the way, but I enjoy talking to new people. Okay.
Right.
It's who I was before I was a sales guy. It's who I am today. I mean, unless I've got something on my mind, if I see somebody out in public or something, I purposely will talk to somebody. My wife thinks it's weird because everybody wants to talk to me when I'm in the line at the grocery store, right? Been a little less frequent right now.
Yeah, I'm a little secret there. I'm just doing this. They're looking at what I'm buying.
And sometimes, I don't know.
I want them to know, man.
I don't know if I have a stamp or something on my forehead that says it's okay to tell me, but people start.
I think it's your size.
They start telling me some stuff that really, like, I shouldn't know, and I don't know why.
Well, you got a psychology degree, right?
Well,
we're going to start calling you.
I did some I have psychology classes.
We're going to start calling him Dr. Phil. That's really what it is. We just brought Dr. Phil in. Dr. Kyle. Dr. Kyle. Yeah. Come here and sit on my lap.
No, I study the mind. It fascinates me how that works. I mean, when I was in the criminal side of stuff, in that field, that's kind of what intrigued me. It was by no means my true passion, but I like learning how people operate, how they think. It's
okay. So it all goes back to what you were talking about. People are generally good people, yeah. Right? You don't go into a job, right? If you're a new employee, you don't go into a job wanting people to hate you, right? You go in there, you go into a new job because you're excited, you want to have some fun. Hey, I found a new career, something like that. And what sucks is then you run into a guy that doesn't know how to talk to anybody, that wants to sit there and say, you know what, I'm not going to teach you. You just need to sit over here, hear some books, read your own stuff, and figure it out. The United States, our egos, we just aren't humbled, and unfortunately, we're going to be humbled probably pretty soon if we ever go to war. I mean, we're arrogant. I mean, think about it. I mean, how many countries do you think to sit here and do what we're doing right now? We're doing a podcast right now on our lot that we own. Right. And with about $1 million worth of cars that we own, and how many people get to do that and get up in the morning, go work out with guys that want to learn and how to get better. Right. I mean, there's people out there that don't even know they can't even find food, and yet we want to sit there and be arrogant to people in the grocery store.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Our society has gotten away from treating people. Bingo. Just treating people like a guest in your home. And we've talked about this for a long time, and I'll say it in every podcast. I think that's what's wrong with big business. I think they've gotten away from why they're big business. Yeah. Now they're in the beginning they probably had, think about it. Go into a big business right now. Go in there and ask them this. Hey, let's say you're gonna get hired from we'll just say UPS, right?
Right.
You're going to go into UPS. You sit down with the guy that's going to hire you. You're going to be the driver. Ask the driver what your vision statement is for the company. What's your mission statement? What's your vision statement? Where do you see this company at in 3 or 5 years? What do you guys do for training? Instead of them interviewing you, you interview them. You'll find out that 90% of the companies, if not higher, probably higher than that, don't have that. They don't have that vision statement. That vision statement should be sit there and pointed on the board. We have right there, Hebrews 13:16. And do not forget to do good and to share with others, for with such sacrifices, God is pleased. That's on our wall.
Yeah. And we look at it every day.
Right. It's on our wall. And that's basically, I know it's printed from the Bible, but that's our mission and that's our vision statement. That's our, hey, we're going to take care of people and we're going to share that with people because we're going to take care of them. That's what we're doing. And then we're looking at, okay, hey, how can we get better, right? How can we, well, one, everybody's been worried about my weight, right? Rightfully so. I respect all that stuff. I mean, I've gotten better, right? I'm moving around a lot more and stuff, but it's because you guys are helping motivate me. I'm motivated too, but
we've actually figured out he doesn't really eat that much. He orders enough food to allow him to spill it on the floor.
Right, it's on my chest.
Or on his chest and stuff like that. So he's not really he orders a lot of food. He doesn't eat a lot
I get
of food.
5 tacos, I eat one. And that's what happens. I mean, everything else is spilt on the ground for little Mikey the mouse.
Mice love him.
Yeah, little Mikey the mouse. Right, so
little Timmy the mouse.
Little Timmy the mouse. That's funny. But see, I don't know. I love talking about this stuff, this leadership stuff, because it needs to be told. And we weren't perfect. We're coming on here. We're talking about this. I had to learn a lot and read a lot and look in the mirror a lot, and I also had to get away from the wrong people.
I think so I'll speak for the United States, right? So I still see tons of signs out there, right? Companies wanting to hire people.
Right.
See a lot of ads and stuff on Facebook. Heck, I get a lot of Indeed inquiries, like so much that it annoys me. So I moved my Indeed thing over onto a different page so I don't see it.
Right.
But, love Indeed, by the way. That's a great source. You keyed in on something now, okay? People right now have the choice to go pick a career and a company and the leadership that they want.
100%.
And I hope people, it took us a long time to do this. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to do something different, you don't like the leadership you're under.
Move.
You don't like what you don't like the culture that you're in. There are a ton of good jobs. There's a ton of good employers. There's a ton of great businesses out there who believe the same way we do. We're not the only people that believe this, that you can work with and grow with. And, it might seem you may not make the amount of money that you're making right now, but money's not everything. And I guarantee you when you're happier, you'll figure out other ways of making
100%
income.
It's amazing to me. I hate change. I hate it. I hate change. My wife always tells me, "You're the worst." I stayed at a place too long. I mean, and I wasn't confident in my ability. Which that's what happens. You're scared because you're comfortable, and then you're not confident in yourself. Everybody else is more confident than you are, but you don't want to make that change because you're like, okay, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it does?
Here, don't get me wrong, okay? Because by no means am I encouraging people to just go out and start quitting their job. You got to kind of look at yourself first. Yeah. Are you doing what you should be doing, right? Because there's another part of that
what you
story
are doing.
when
if you're actually quitting a job, all right, you are doing that to an extent. But what Kyle's talking about is that you can't just sit there and go to a job, work there 2 weeks, and think you gave it your all, and then quit.
Right.
You got to say, okay, did I really give this guy or girl a chance to? Are they really leading me? I mean, here, if someone's really leading you, you'll know it. They're interested in what you're doing. They're concerned. They're trying to help you get to your goals. They sit down with you and go over the goals with you. They ask you how you're doing. They role play with you.
They genuinely feel good that you're there every day.
They're high fiving you when you're selling something or that you did a good job on something, or they walk by and just say, "Hey, great job." You got a guy that you're working for that sits in his office all day and reads spreadsheets and doesn't want to come out and shake your hand and tell you hi, but maybe once every 10 days, got to go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but my thing is there's a self-assessment you have to do too, right? Because here, you got to know your certain talent level, and first you got to be truthful and honest with yourself. Okay, 100%. That was hard for a long, long time. Okay, that was hard for me to do. I know Matt and I have talked. That was hard for him to do, But I'll tell you, when you stop lying to yourself about who you are and the mistakes that you made, and you forgive yourself for things that you've done, okay? And we haven't went out and murdered. Well, I don't think we have. It went out and murdered anybody. I know for me, I haven't.
Matt, what do you mean by murder?
Like we haven't went out and killed or done any heinous things, but we've done some stuff that's wrong.
Could you define that again, please? No, we have not. We've played by the rules.
We play by the books. But I screw up every day. You can ask my wife, right?
Oh, I'll tell them.
But I try to get 1% better every day.
You know, the hardest thing for me, I will tell you this, was I had a mentor that told me, my mentor that I thought was I put on a pedestal, that told me I couldn't do something. And that hit me like overhead I was pissed.
Yeah.
I'm like, so this is my mentor telling me
that's probably the best thing that ever happened.
100%. Because I sat there and said, okay, when someone tells me I can't do something, that gets under my skin.
You did one of those hold my beer things?
Yeah. Sit here, hold my beer. and you know, this we had a vision. Our vision, we still have a vision with what we're doing here. We have a business plan, 5-year business plan. We have a vision. We have a direction. Today, we worked on processes the last 2 days, a process to streamline the business a little bit, and we did it, and it worked. So we're always looking to get better, but to sit there and to tell any human being that they can't do something is the I think the most demoralizing thing you can tell somebody.
You're not in a communist country.
No,
you're in America.
I tell everybody that anybody can accomplish anything that they want to do if they just believe and work hard to do it. And you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to teach and learn and do some things. But who are you? I don't care how much money you have or don't have or whatever you think you are. Who are you to tell another human being that they can't do something?
Right. 100%. It's like the government telling you can't have a combustion engine, right? I mean, I'll just keep going back to that.
Right.
That you need to know your role.
Right.
Right. That's not the government's role. I mean, I get saving the planet stuff. The whole world is accountable for that, right?
Well, think about it. The countries don't communicate well with each other. You got countries that believe this. You got people that believe this. You got businesses want to sit there and do this. You know, you got different businesses pushing their agenda.
You can have oppositions and still have the same common interests in mind, right? You can have oppositions. And that's the thing I hate about this Democrat and Republican bull crap, you know? And a lot of people who know me personally know how I side on most of the stuff, okay? But it's become so segregated that there's no common interest, which would be the people of the United States, right? They're so worried about who's right and who's wrong, and I'm going to blame this guy and blame that guy, instead of going, hey, you guys have a different perspective. Let's figure out what your perspective and my perspective is. We'll mesh that thing together, okay? And let's get real and get on with it and build it.
Yeah, which is what we're doing here. I mean, it's if you looked at us, this is what, month 4 from us being open, April, January, February, March. We're starting month 4, I guess. We've changed so much since month 1. We've learned a lot since, and you know, we're going to reinvent ourselves. When we're constantly looking, okay, hey, how can we, you know, one of the biggest things we're learning is how to advertise and advertise quick, right? We're thinking, okay, hey,
Maxwell's going to have. He told me the other day he's going to have abs by June.
They might be painted, but they'll be there. So hey, I'm gonna walk through that. I'm gonna walk through the gym like Brecken is, man. Hey, you guys know where the ab machine is?
I'm not wearing. Hey, are we working out tomorrow morning, Saturday?
Oh no, tomorrow's breakfast. We're gonna have chicken fried steak and fried steak.
Hey, Monday, I'm not even wearing the shirt. Potatoes. I might come to the gym in a Speedo.
Right?
I might just come to the gym in a Speedo. You're probably gonna wear a hat. And that's it.
Well, we're going to talk about that. I don't know if we're going to sit there and do that and be able to sell some cars. Yeah. Right? But anyway, let's talk about breakfast. No. But
avocado toast, buddy.
Avocado toast. That's right. Avocado toast. That was a good one. Well, I think we've hit on a lot today. I I think the world's got a long way to go before we're ever going to be where we want to be. And I truly hope for all you guys that are listening to this that one, you enjoy listening to Kyle and I kind of talk, and the people, the guests that we have on. Our just so you guys know, our new podcast room is still under construction, so hopefully the next one we'll have that done, we'll be in there. And we've got some guests. We're actually been invited to a couple national podcast shows that we're going to be on. We don't sometime later this year, and then we're going to have some. There's a gentleman by the name of Tony, and I'll promote him a little bit. I'm kind of excited about this. So he was my Southwestern consulting coach. Okay, wonderful human being, probably one of the best human beings I've ever been around. And he's Catholic, like I am, and he's very, very involved with the Catholic religion. And as a matter of fact, he writes a prayer every day, and he posts it on his Facebook page. And he decided that, and I'm not going to tell his whole story because I don't know it like, of course, he will, but we're going to have him on our show. But he wrote a book, and we got to know each other so well that he actually, I'm one of the chapters in the book. I haven't read it yet, so I'll have to figure out what he wrote. But I'm very humbled that a guy, one of my mentors, who has just helped me out business-wise tremendously, is taking the time to even tell my story about some of the things I've gone through and where I'm at today. And then he's books published, and he's traveling the world or the United States. He's got a goal that he's going to do, to travel and talk to a bunch of people for free about his faith and his journey. And what, it's like our slogan, right? Your commitment, our journey.
Yep.
And we keep getting involved in this. That's what, and I know, that's what people that are always looking to get better do. They surround themselves by other people, and these things just evolve into things that are, you never thought they would evolve to. Yeah, you're just like, hey, who would have thought that when we're getting these coaches that we'd have our own business by now, and then get guys on board with us that are they have the same vision we do, and then now we're in books. I mean, and now we're getting, we're going to go on podcasts and stuff to share our message and talk. So we're lucky, we're lucky to be able to do this. I'm very humbled to be able to do this. And I hope the people that are listening to this, if they're struggling, we've struggled, I've struggled. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can get yourself out of it if you surround yourself around people who generally believe and love you.
Yes.
And that's what we've done here. And so you've got to get out of your situation. And I'll tell you this right now. We're growing, and we're going to grow. We don't have any room right now at this store, but I will tell you this. If you're around Springfield and stuff and you're struggling and you want to come talk to us,
you can come on in.
You come on in, and we'll sit down, and you can talk to me, Brecken. We're not going to.
Don't talk to Brad.
We're not going to talk to Brad. Brad just take you outside and punch you.
Hey, before we end the podcast, so our
Brad, let me tell you something. Brad would more than happy talk to you. He says that stuff, but he's a guy that he's right there with us. So, but anyway, I just want to tell that to everybody.
That's a really long conclusion on the podcast. But before we hop off of here, okay, our charity this month that we're doing at the Auto Parlor is the Wounded Warriors Guide Service. I have Bracken make sure he gets this link up there. If you could go out there and do a donation, small donation, it's 100% to these veterans that have sacrifices given their, basically their life. All of them are disabled, I think, that go on this deal, but it's 100% funded by the money that we give them or raise for them, and just show some love for the veterans and throw $1 or $2 there. Just $5 goes a long ways on this deal.
100%.
So,
and they need it. They need our help. They need everybody's help. What was the slogan that we came up with?
We serve the people who served us.
Serve the people that served us.
Yes.
You can't get any better than that. They gave us this country for, we had the freedom because of them, of their sacrifices. Huh? The eclipse on Monday? There's going to be 2 eclipses on Monday. All right, one's going to be the real one, and the second one We'll talk about that later.
You just keep watching the shorts, okay?
Not my shorts. You're talking about the reels, the short.
Yeah. Oh,
the
yeah,
reels.
the reels, the short reels.
The short reels.
So
yeah, there's something funny.
Why do you
coming,
always
folks.
look at me when somebody says short?
Because you're shorter than me.
Right?
Right?
Everybody's shorter than you are.
I know, man. I'm the walrus.
Guys, go out there and have a good time this week, okay?
All right, kill it. We'll talk to you next time.